Guru Deva Jaya, 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 Guru Deva, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev Jaya Jaya.
Okay, this is better?
Jaya Guru.
Okay. Please let me know if you cannot hear me. So I'm not going to be using the AirPods. It looks like it's just not working, and that is totally fine. So, as you all know, thank you so much. Yes, I want to go ahead and, okay, so welcome Evangelina, who is watching, Kunti Marquez. Maybe you know any of these devotees. Okay, good. Om Karnath. Do you know Om Karnath? Oh, okay. We have Om Karnath and Madhav Prabhu. Is it Madhav Krishna? Please let me know so I can remember. Okay, so again, my name is Vaidehi Devi Dasi. We are here at the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram, back to our source or origin of broadcast, which is the Seva Ashram, under the shelter of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari and Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj. Welcome, Krishna Gopal. Welcome, everybody who is here today. As you know, I always like to speak about practicing life and how do we take Krishna consciousness and how do we apply everything we hear and really try to focus on what is the mood of Gurudev. And so today's topic, just because there have been a lot of flags in this direction, is something about this mood of Seva. The mood of Seva. What is the mood of Seva? What is Seva to begin with, right? And I cannot say that I am qualified to really speak on this topic, but what I know is that there are many beautiful examples of what is the mood of service, and just from this life experience, I can understand the gradation of what is the mood of service and how important it is to check oneself and always course correct our understanding of what Seva is. And so we have many beautiful examples of this in our line, in our mats all over the world, in our acharyas all over the world, and I think it is extremely important to observe and understand what this means for us. And Seva is not a championship, it keeps calling. Seva is not a championship, a competition, or a race, but rather it is a lifestyle, and you could say goes hand in hand with this understanding of Krishna consciousness, right? Seva is not an action or an activity, but rather it is our mood with which we serve the Vaishnavas and, most importantly, this divine Sankirtan movement. And so today I feel very fortunate because we have some special guests here with us, and I wanted to include them in the conversation. And because I can tell you that I've had the opportunity to travel to many of our temples all over the world, and I've had the opportunity to live in Sri Navadvip Dham in India and experienced the beautiful, sweet mood of all of the visiting devotees, and also headed by Madhusudan Maharaj, who has always been known as Mahananda Prabhu. And because of this experience, I have some memory of what is this beautiful mood of service, and I get very happy when I get to see devotees coming to visit our temples, no matter where we are in the world. As you all know, I was just visiting what we were calling Filer Dham in Los Angeles, where the Russian devotees are there serving nicely and really, really engaged in preaching in a very dynamic way. And here at the Seva Ashram, we have our beautiful lordships and so much Seva opportunity. And so we have some very special guests who are visiting from the East Coast / Mexico. And I wanted to welcome them and include them here tonight to share a little bit about their journey, their experience, their memory, anything they really want to share about this. And, their experience and understanding. I already can see how auspicious it is to have their presence here, and I feel very grateful and inspired by their presence. Always, I always get very excited when we have devotees visiting. So I'm going to turn the camera and reveal our special guest. So I'm going to go ahead and just invite you one at a time. Just please introduce yourself. What is your name? Where are you from? What is your name? Where are you from? What is your name? Where are you from? And then we'll begin some little conversation together. Yeah, we're all going to take a little moment together to share something about this topic. Maybe you have a story or some quote you remember. Whatever it is, you're welcome to share. And again, the inspiration is, the intention is to really inspire and to share from our hearts, because that is what we have, and not to be in competition with each other, but rather on the same team. How can we support each other in our practicing life to open our heart, to stop the fighting mood, but to open the mood of compassion, to open the mood of service and seeing each other as a team? So we're going to begin a little conversation, and okay, please take a moment. Okay, so Om Karnath is sending his regards to Ramananda Prabhu. I remember him so much. Om Karnath Prabhu mandando sus reverencias. Okay, so please, whoever would like to go first.
Please, everybody, accept my Dandavat Pranam. I'm Vaidehi Devi dasi from Mexico, and now we have the opportunity to come here on the Soquel Ashram under the shelter of Srila Janarda Maharaj. We're going to be here a few weeks visiting them and all the devotees, and we are so happy to be here in this beautiful ashram. My Dandavats.
Jai.
Dandavats, my name is Janaki Devi dasi. We're sisters, and that's my dad. And we're visiting here for the first time in Soquel. It's a beautiful ashram. For being the first time, I love it here. And we'll be here, like she said, a couple weeks. And then we'll be traveling back to Tikul, where we're living right now with Ashram Maharaj.
Jai.
My English is not good, but I try to say something. Mi nombre es Ramananda Das, un servidor de todos ustedes, padre de 6 aspirantes a este sendero de la devoción y afortunado de que pueda tener esta magnífica familia de devotos por todas partes, por donde uno viaja, y sentir ese afecto, ese amor que nos han transmitido nuestros guardianes, nuestros preceptores, y nos han inspirado a ofrecerlo a todos los que puedan tener ese contacto en nuestra vida, y pues esa es la aspiración que tenemos, algún día poder ser un buen sirviente de nuestros queridos hermanos y devotos de todas las comunidades, y sobre todo de nuestros preceptores guardianes en nuestra línea de sucesión, en nuestro Rupa Nuga Sampradaya, en nuestro Guru Varga. Y pues aquí les agradecemos a ustedes esa oportunidad que nos dan para presentarnos, y Dandavas Pranam, mis reverencias a sus pies.
Would you like to translate, or should I?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Ramananda Prabhu is saying that he is Ramananda Prabhu and he is the father of 6 aspiring beautiful devotees, And, I'll do it just because it won't be word for word, but he is describing how fortunate he feels to be able to be in service and to serve, and everywhere he goes or everywhere we go, to have the opportunity to serve our Vaishnav families and centers. And he considers himself very fortunate to be able to present here and to be in service in the line of Rupa Nuga. And did I miss anything else? This was the gist, yes? So just a beautiful sentiment and beautiful expression. And this is precisely why I wanted to introduce them and bring them here, because time and time again, through traveling and visiting different devotees, there is this beautiful service mood and essence that is just, I think, necessary and important to capture, distribute, and share. And so I wanted to say something for just a moment. First of all, I am so happy to hear that they're here for several weeks. I had no idea. I thought maybe just a few days. So I feel so grateful. Like water in a desert. So, there's many devotees here, but it's so special to have here the servitors of Srila Bhakti Kushum Ashram Maharaj, because I know his dedication and his mood of service is one and only. And I know that each of the bhaktas, with their head acharyas, have such special mood. And I'm also here in the presence of these beautiful devotees who have been born in the Krishna conscious movement. And so I just want to, I get very honest on these live streams that, service life, we grow up in this Krishna conscious practice, and some people are joining, right, when they are already adults, maybe teenagers, hearing about Krishna consciousness. And then we begin our life, right, our sadhana bhakti. We go to the artis, we do the puja, we clean, we cook, we do this service. And then as we go along, we're doing this physical activity, and that physical activity is transforming us, right? It's transforming us. It's cleansing our existence. It's expanding our capacity, right? It's not just something intellectual, right? Krishna consciousness is not just intellectual. It's also heart. It's also action. It's also mood, sentiment, intention. And so I remember, going through these ebbs and flows in service life, and times when I have felt so proud because I'm doing so much service, and these people are not doing service, and these people are not, but I am doing, right? And so we go through these different moods, and then there are times when I feel I am not doing anything. I cannot do anything. I don't even know what service is. I don't even want to do service, right? So we go through these ups and downs, and that's normal because we are beginners. We are beginners, right? We are maybe even less than Kanishta Adhikaris. I don't know. I will say I am less than a Kanishta Adhikari, but this is not about badges and, labels, but it's about understanding how we can really come from a place of heart, right? We hear that in the spiritual world, every unit is a giving unit. Every unit there is serving the center and dedicated to serving the center. There is no concept of I. But here in the material world, as we're practicing, we still have these concepts of I, right? We still have these concepts of ego, of time, of energy. I don't have energy, I have energy. So sometimes in our practicing life, it can be hard to always consider how I can be in a mood of service, doing, giving. And sometimes there is confusion between, is Seva doing, or is Seva more of a mood? And then how can we find the balance? And so it's not always easy. So wherever you are on your path, it's very important to recognize and understand that there are ups and there are downs. And there are ups and there are downs. Sometimes you feel like a Seva superhero, and sometimes you feel like a Seva worm/flea, or whatever it is. But that's a normal part of the process. And it seems like the best mood is somewhere in the middle, right? Not feeling so much I am the doer, right? Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, like we're not the doer. Things are coming through us, and not so beneath that we feel like we cannot do anything. So how do we find this middle ground, and how can we sometimes work, to not allow our minds to take over, right? Our ego to take over. And so what I find is oftentimes a beautiful medicine is hearing stories, right? Hearing stories about the devotees, hearing stories about the service mood. Like Srila Janardhan Maharaj was telling the beautiful story of Ramananda Prabhu right here, and all of the austerities and, dangerous situations that he's gone through to serve. And so these stories make us understand that Seva is not a comfort, a commodity, or something we do for fun, but it is really about life or death, right? Seva is the way that we are able to stay connected. And the more we can hear about these beautiful stories and examples, the more we can have some inspiration. Because how are we going to inspire ourselves and each other in service? Not by beating ourselves, not for, beating other people. It doesn't work, right? I've been in those positions of like, oh, I need to beat people, or I need to beat myself. But what I find is the most effective for encouraging us in service is the sweet mood and example of the devotees. And so for that reason, I wanted to open up the space to maybe hear a story, some adventure that you've had in service, or maybe you've seen Ashram Maharaj do so many things. So do you have any story coming up for you that you want to share? Yeah, you can start? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera and move it a little bit closer just so that the sound is good. And I'm going to welcome these beautiful Devi Dasis to share a story with you all to inspire you.
So once again, Dandavats to anyone watching. Where should I begin? Well, we were all very lucky, like my siblings and I, to be born near Ashram Maharaj. My parents had already been with him for a while. And we pretty much grew up with him, like playing sports, or like him teaching us like pastimes, teaching us how to cook, and like different like activities. And then we had to move to Virginia for the citizenship and different things. And like after 10 years or so that we were living in the U.S., my sister, she's like, oh, we should just go back to Tikul. Like, she just randomly told me, like, that's her desire had always been. And honestly, it wasn't like, oh yeah. Like when she told me, I was like, I don't know if we should just leave there. Like, it's been a while since we were there. So I kind of thought about it. And then the next day, we were working. The next day, she's like, I already put my 2 weeks notice. Like, we should just go back to Tikul now. And I'm like, how? Like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't ready. And then we went to the Tikmana camp. And then we told Maharaj, and he's like, oh, I don't have the words, like, how like happy I feel that you guys are coming back. So just that, like, I don't know, I felt like we had always like seen him like a father to us. So we always had like a really like affection to him. But living with him, it like changed like my whole life personally again. So, and then we've been there for like 3 years now, and just seeing him, like his service, like construction, translating, collecting, cooking, everything he does, like just to teach us with the example. And we could be tired, like by the end of the day, and be like, oh, I can't do this anymore. But then you see him still working, so it's like, how am I supposed to go lay down or like distract myself when he's still doing Seva? So I don't know, it's just like those moments that make me just want to be there all the time, because people think Tico is like, oh my God, so much austerity, like it's away from the city, and like there's bugs a little bit and things like that.
Nothing fun to do.
Yeah, like it's away from the city and it's a small town. But then just being with him, and like the affection he has for the devotees, the care, and like, I don't know, it's just such a beautiful mood that we're so like blessed to be there with him. And I feel really happy, and I even miss being at the temple and like the association with the devotees, and it's just a beautiful thing, the opportunity we have to be there.
Yeah, like she said, that's one experience that we could change like for nothing in life, and that's something that once you go there and you have the association of the spiritual masters and such great personalities like Ashram Maharaj, like Janardhan Maharaj, then you feel like the need to be there with them. Once you go away, and then you're gonna miss that. So we're so lucky to have the opportunity to be with them and have that association and learn directly from them, and that inspires us to continue in our spiritual life and try to do like better and better and better every day. And even like Vaidehi was saying, we have like the ups and downs. Even when you feel down, they're gonna make you feel like all the positive, and that way we can continue practicing and under their shelter and with all their affection, because they really treat us like family. Like all devotees, they treat us like the real family, and that's something that we can feel with Ashram Maharaj and Janardhan Maharaj.
And I don't feel like I'm close to any like perfect Seva or like too much Seva, but just seeing him happy with the little things we do, it just makes you like want to keep on doing more and more and keep on trying the best you can.
And the times that we do something wrong, that really make us feel like really bad. But also he's gonna find a way to make you feel better and to teach you that that's okay. Like bad things you're gonna do all the time, but we need to try to practice it. And that's something that he said, like even if we do something wrong, we need to try the same thing like over and over and over until that we get better doing the same thing. Even when it's like something really simple, we still need to try to continue doing it. And I think that's something that really makes us just learn things and grew up like in our spiritual life. I'm not saying that we are like very devotional or something, but just being with him, or the way that we feel that necessity to be with him, that's because by ourselves we wouldn't do nothing of that. So we need him to do the things, and with his presence, anything can be possible.
So beautiful example.
And I think that's something that of the power they have. Like even if when there's something that, even if you don't know and they send you to do something, just because he told you to do it, you can go like knowing that it's gonna happen. Like somehow it's gonna happen, even if you don't know how to do it. But by Gurudev giving you the instruction, that needs to be done, and it's gonna happen some way.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we can tell about our experience with Ashram Maharaj and Janardhan Maharaj.
Yes. Beautiful. When you were speaking, I remember this. Here, I'll come in so people are not. I remember. Yeah, how can we be together? Ooh.
Yeah, just scoot over a little
Scoot
more.
in.
I
And
always
then
have to
Ramananda
scoot in.
Prabhu. Oh, Jai Saparikara Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Kandak. Jai. Yay, we are back. We can receive beautiful darshan of the deities. So something, as you were both sharing, just, remembering this story, right? About Srila Prabhupada, right? And how he got on this freight cargo ship with what was it, like $8-9? He had a stroke on the boat and almost died, and then arrives to America and shares Krishna consciousness all over the world. And so, he was doing this in the mood of following the instruction of his Gurudev. And so I was speaking with Sudha Krishna Prabhu. Sudha Krishna Prabhu, are you here? And I was just visiting the Russian devotees in Los Angeles. And he was saying, well, two really nice comments that I heard. One was from, who was it? Madhavi Didi, who is on Avadut Maharaj's team. And she has many services. And one of the services she does is booking shows and selling shows with the domes where they engage in some preaching activity and many more things I'm not describing properly. But she was saying the mood of service is something very special. Avadut Maharaj is always teaching us that we ask for service, right? We don't just come and wait, but we ask, we get active, we get engaged in service. So I thought that was a really nice little ding, right? So what is Seva, right? Seva is so important to have the association of the devotees and to be able to ask and to understand, because really ultimately Seva is about pleasing the devotees, right? It's about coming with this beautiful mood, like you're saying. We're tired and Ashram Maharaj is doing, and we want to stop or we want to rest, or if he was not there, we would not do this, right? But because we see him, we get motivated. And I mean, this is like also kind of common knowledge, right? When we talk about teams and organizations, it's so important to have that kind of example and that person motivating. So the best example is our acharyas, our devotees who are serving. So this idea of asking, right? Being able to ask for this service opportunity. And then what happens is when you ask and receive and you do, somehow you get more energy. You get more opportunity. Your heart opens a little bit more. And the most beautiful thing is that you develop relationship, right? In our mission, in our line, it's all about relationship. It's about our relationship with our acharyas, with our god brothers and god sisters. And the importance of having this harmonious service relationship, I think, is the foundation, right, of how we are able to serve together, right? So because you're here, I get more inspired to also be here instead of, you know what, maybe I'm going to stay up here and do my work on my computer. Instead, I think, oh, they are here. I have to come down because they are here, right? So in this way, we have some understanding that Seva has something to do with opening our heart and our desire for association, right? And then the next piece that Sudha Krishna Prabhu had mentioned was, I was kind of talking about some things I wanted to do and how to do and where to go. And he was saying, I think the best option for you is always to live with devotees. Because when we live with the devotees, we're going to be more spiritually inclined by the environment of service, by the environment and the mood of kirtan. And I just remember, I usually wake up 8 o'clock in the morning. That's my wake up time. If I go to bed late or early, that's usually my wake up time. But if I try, I can wake up earlier than that, right? And so when I was visiting, the devotees every morning, 7 a.m. are doing kirtan. And that's not my usual time, but because I hear them singing and I hear them doing, it makes me get up and wake up. So how can you find a place, maybe if you're not near devotees or maybe you live far away, how can you create that association for yourself in your practicing life? Because we all require that camaraderie, we all require that community. So how can you find this opportunity, this Seva community, right? What is your Seva community? Where do you feel inspired to engage in Seva? Because Seva is really the foundation of our practicing life. So these beautiful devotees are sharing some example of, the way they experience inspiration through watching Srila Bhakti Kushrum Ashram Maharaj in Tikul, right? Working so hard, tirelessly to serve. And like Gurudev, he reminds me of Gurudev, right? Gurudev can sing, can play mridanga, can play kartals, can cook, can take care of the cows, can guide construction, can cultivate a garden, can take care of tulsi, right? How can we become well-rounded servitors, right? Not just one thing and then this becomes the Seva cult, right? But how can we become well-rounded devotees and participate in all of the Seva departments? How can we increase our capacity to really be seen as an asset, right? How can we be seen not as a liability, but as an asset to our mission? And the more we can learn from the servitors, our senior devotees, our god brothers and sisters, these beautiful different sevas, we must learn, right? Let's learn how to make Sureshwari's banana bread. Let's learn how to do the puja. Let's learn how to play mridanga. Let's learn how to sing. How can we become well-rounded servitors so that we can really wear any hat? And we see this mood in Srila Govinda Maharaj. We see this mood in Srila Bhakti Kushum Ashram Maharaj, right? They are able to do all the sevas so nicely. So obviously, where is your Seva community? Where is your service inclination beginning there, but then continuing to expand our capacity, right? This Seva has the opportunity to give us qualifications that we would never imagine, right? We would never imagine these qualifications in us, but because of our service, somehow now we become capable of, singing. Now we become capable of constructing a building. right? Something we would have never imagined before. So really, Seva expands our capacity, not just in service and in the temple life, but in our everyday life, in our existence, right? Because Gurudev had instructed me when I was a teenager, finish your education, I decided this was my number one instruction. And so I got straight A's for all of my education because this was my service. How do I know it was my service? Because he told me, right? And then next step, you must engage in preaching. Whole world you can sing. So this has become my life priority, is preaching and singing and chanting. And to someone else, it may seem, oh, she just likes to sing, and who does she think she is? But Gurudev gave those instructions, right? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Koriya Aikya, like make no other desire yours but the words that come from the lotus mouth of your Gurudev. So we have to understand what our Gurudev wants from us, what the service mission wants from us, right? What our environment wants from us. Where is there a necessity for service? And so that will guide us and that will show us. And one time Gurudev said, your service will be revealed to you. And I thought, okay, how am I supposed to know when you're not here? I need to know now, because when you go, then I will not know. Develop your internal relationship, right? He said, and I was like, okay. So we have some instructions, right? To develop our internal relationship, to develop our service mood by taking shelter, right, of the devotees and seeing what is the environment. You know, Krishna is everywhere, right? Guru can come in so many forms. And if you ask, it will be revealed. Seva does not just mean, again, some little job, right? Some cutting potato or some this or some that, right? Seva is a much bigger thing. And how can we become expansive and embody the proper mood? So thank you for sharing this beautiful, vision and example of how you get to experience the inspiration by just watching Srila Bhakti Kusumashram Maharaj. Yeah, there's so much that can come from that observation. You learn how to do the physical activity, but then you also learn something about the mood and motivation and all the different layers that come, right? By example.
And I think it's more the understanding that it's not that we go to help to the ashram.
Right.
We go to get the help from them and to learn from them.
Yes.
So we're helping ourselves by being.
Yes.
Pues
Yes.
Todos sabemos, aunque sea de palabra, que la clave del éxito es la satisfacción del maestro espiritual, sinceridad y castidad hacia su persona. Pero no sé si
I'll be translating at the same
See, or do you want to?
Actually, I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. So he's saying that we know that the key in service, right, is the satisfaction of the spiritual master, right? We know this is the key.
Ajá. Y necesita dos ingredientes para complementar ese éxito, sinceridad y castidad, como Srila Sridhar Maharaj explica. Y Acharya Maharaj hacía mucho énfasis en Jiva Doya, Nama Ruchi y Vaishnava Seva.
Déjame decir aquí eso. So he's saying two very necessary ingredients that are required, as Srila Guru Maharaj would say, and that is sincerity and chastity. And Srila Acharya Maharaj would always say, Nama, what is it?
Jivedoya, Nama Ruchi y Vaishnava Seva.
And Vaishnava Seva.
Ajá. En los últimos días antes de su partida, él tuvo la oportunidad de celebrar el festival de desaparición de Srila Govinda Maharaj.
In the last few days before his passing, he had the opportunity to celebrate the festival of the disappearance of Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Devi Swami Maharaj.
And after the festival in the Zoom program with any word around the word devotees. Él le preguntaba a cada comunidad que si habían hecho festival para honrar y cuántos invitados habían logrado. Entonces, muchos de los devotos, no, que por la pandemia fue algo así, prácticamente familiar, una cosa así,
And he was saying that, you know, in the broadcast, he was asking the devotees that were gathered, you know, how did you celebrate Srila Gurudev's disappearance day, and how many devotees came? And then the devotees were saying, oh, because of the pandemic, you know, it was like this, it was just within our family members.
Entonces él un poco enojado decía, festival es no hacer preparaciones y todo para después uno mismo satisfacerse con la comida, con el prasada.
And he was saying festival is not just making preparations so that one can fulfill themselves with the prasadam.
Y siempre hacía referencia de que adorar al maestro espiritual no es ofrecer puya, su fotografía, es complacer su instrucción, seguir su instrucción, y él en lo particular, Acharya Maharaj, era muy motivado a predicar, no parar la prédica en ninguna circunstancia, y es el ejemplo que nosotros estamos tratando de seguir como personas que estamos enredadas en el egoísmo por todo nuestro entorno material, familiar o apegos.
He was so, thank you so much, it's so beautiful. So he's saying that Srila Acharya Maharaj would say that, you know, worship of the spiritual master is not just worshiping his photo, but rather, and doing some puja to his photo, but rather fulfilling the desire and the wish of the spiritual master. And he's saying that the, you know, preaching mood of Srila Acharya Maharaj was that we must not stop the preaching at any cost, that we must continue with this preaching service. And so he is saying that, and so we are continuing to try in this way to continue with the preaching service despite our, you know, material entanglements, despite our, you know, false ego and all of the things that really come to entangle us.
Como lo podemos apreciar en los pasatiempos de Mahaprabhu, en el Chaitanya Charitamrita, se explica cómo Mahaprabhu tuvo que ingenciar un programa de mercadotecnia para poder hacer una distribución máxima, dando muestras gratis para que todos fueran atraídos a ese dulce néctar de conciencia de Krishna.
And he's saying how we see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita how Mahaprabhu would make these grand endeavors to do these big distributions of Mahaprasad and this big mood of distribution so that everybody could benefit from the sweet nectar of
Por distribuir muestras gratis así.
To give freely and distribute this sweetness.
Entonces, de esa misma manera, nosotros no tenemos que parar con ese generosidad de beneficiar a todos con este néctar de la conciencia de Krishna.
And so in this way, we must also not stop with the distribution of this nectar that is Krishna consciousness.
Es necesario jivedoya, dar el beneficio a todas las almas que estamos condicionadas en este mundo material para tener esa oportunidad del éxito.
This jiva doya is necessary, this distribution of mercy, so that all the conditioned souls can have this opportunity to have this success, right, in spiritual life.
Todos podemos ofrecer algo a los demás. No comas carne, no juegos de azar, cualquier cosa puede uno predicar a las personas. Sridhar Maharaj decía, no vayas con nadie sin terminar una conversación, sin decir nada acerca de Krishna.
He's saying we can all give something, some sort of conception to everyone we meet. Don't eat meat, no gambling. We can all give some inspiration towards spiritual life. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj would always say, don't leave a conversation without sharing something about Krishna consciousness. Love this. I think this is my favorite thing, and everything he said, yes. Keep going, please. So nice.
Y sí, en esa manera como se nos ha explicado, como un avaro tiene que empezar a primero ejercitar la mano para dar piedras, después un penny, después $1. Tenemos que practicar porque no es de la noche a la mañana que nos va a llegar la gracia y todo es por una constante práctica, como cuando sales a correr, que haces tu disciplina. Entonces, como dicen, la práctica hace al maestro.
¿Y qué es esa palabra que dijo de avaro? ¿Avaro? ¿Qué es eso?
Avaro, una persona que no quiere dar
quiere
nada.
dar.
More miser.
Oh.
Miser, avaro.
Like stingy.
So we have to start somewhere, even if, like a miser, we're just giving some rock, and then some penny, and then some dollar. It doesn't happen overnight. It comes with time, and it's the discipline that's required. Just as a person who's disciplined to go running every day, there's also some discipline and practice that is required to really follow in the footsteps of this mood of distribution, and really what did you say about the service is to the discipline and service of the guru? That is that what you said? Esa última parte que dijo que la disciplina es al servicio del maestro espiritual.
La práctica es el maestro.
Oh yes, that the practice is in the mood of serving the spiritual master, right? To the spiritual master.
You're gonna get better by practicing every day. So you
It's
can
like a
become
saying. What's your
It's a
price?
Mexican saying.
Oh, okay, eso por eso dije los maestros.
La
Oh, yeah.
práctica hace el maestro. Te
Oh,
te hace-
okay, yo no
te
entendí
hace-
esa parte yo.
Sí.
That the practice will make you
a-
master.
Yeah, make you
Like practice makes perfect.
Perfect.
It's like
Yes.
this expression in Spanish. La práctica se hace
Hay,
maestro.
hay pasatiempo que Guru Maharaj dice a ese respecto, usted lo conoce, que el sado, there is this pastime that Guru Maharaj said, that is the sadhu, he was going from village to village to beg from the villager to give something. And then there is this miser man that already knew and says, oh, I know, I heard about this sadhu. He's always doing that. Okay, let him come. And he was very rich, but very miser. So then he said, yeah, okay, I got you. So this sannyas, very humble, he comes and he says, oh, my dear sir, please, could you give something, just anything that you can you can give anything, whatever you can. Please do some contribution. I don't know exactly the words, but more or less in this thing. And then this man say to the sadhu, yeah, sure, I know your type. I have something for you. Sure I do. I will give. I will contribute something. And he gets some ashes from the ground and he says, here, I am contributing for you. So the sadhu opened the hand very nicely, very lovely, and go like this. And this man, the miser man, gives this ash, and he's looking, and he said, oh, thank you so very much. I'm so grateful for this donation offering that you give. And so this man is looking very like, whoa, what's going on? He's like, okay about it, he's happy. Said, well, what is it? Are you happy? Are you okay with what I gave? Oh yes, sir, oh yes. It's very important what you gave, because when I go back to the temple, I'm gonna wash all the deities paraphernalia with this ash. It's gonna be so beautiful. Yeah, so this is standing. And it's going to be the paraphernalia of the deities are going to be so clean and very shiny. So grateful for your seva. And this miser man goes, oh, wow. It was like, that was something very big and important that he could grasp from that, So, and then he says, and also your hands is going to learn how to give, because you're taking this and you're giving. So your hands is already starting to learn how to give.
Wow.
So that's, yeah.
And so beautiful, this example that it's the mood of sweetness, right?
Yeah.
The mood of sweetness that can really transform the miser, right?
Yeah.
The miser that doesn't want to give, doesn't want to serve, doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
It's the mood of the sadhu, that sweetness and that encouragement that opens the heart and inspires, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if the sadhu was beating this. What would come of this, right? That beautiful response. So beautiful.
And made the miser inquire, how? You are okay? And what? And then he could say, yes, this and this. Sabe esse pasatiempo, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Qué bonito. ¿Qué más? Beautiful Vaishnavas, Shraddhavanjan. Hey, listen, everybody hear these beautiful stories from these beautiful Vaishnavas. This is so, for me, this is a feast.
Siempre implorando por esa misericordia de Gurudev y los Vaishnavas para tener esa oportunidad de servir, porque de otra manera no hay, por logro propio, no hay ninguna oportunidad. Hay una canción de Bhaktivinoda Thakur que cantamos siempre, Kirupe Paivo Seva, donde explica que el sentimiento de que no tengo ninguna atracción por mi maestro espiritual, no tengo ninguna atracción por el servicio a los Vaishnavas, aunque tenga la capacidad de salir de Maya, esta no la voy a poder superar si no es por la misericordia de la gracia de los Vaishnavas, de los santos. En esa manera realmente no tenemos ninguna oportunidad si no nos refugiamos en el polvo de sus pies de loto.
And he's saying about this, he is making a personal reminder prayer and then referencing Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prayer from one of the songs. He's saying he's always imploring the Lord for the mercy to be able to serve the Vaishnavas. And then he's referencing this song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What is the name? Kirupe Payu Seva, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing, I have no attraction for serving the lotus feet. I have no attraction for service. I have no attraction or no taste for this, but I am praying. And, by our own strength, we will not, be in this mood of service or receive this, but rather by praying to the Lord, praying to the Vaishnavas. Did I miss anything? No me perdí algo? I just think this is so beautiful. This, on our own, we have no capacity. On our own, we have no strength. It is not our doing. It is really a blessing and an opportunity. Such a nice song. I wonder if we can sing this song.
You see how is it also? It's not our right. we are always sometimes forgetting it, and we think it's our right because my seva and this and that. But actually, it's not our right. Seva is by the mercy, entirely on the mercy. It's not our right for that. You know, it's completely causeless mercy. And I think by Prabhu saying that came to me that we shall always try to remind ourselves, pray, please, Gurudeva, give me that awareness always. Not my right, but by causeless mercy. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I do not know what seva is, so I asked these beautiful devotees, and because I asked, now I know something more about seva, right? From these beautiful stories and examples and beautiful association. Today, we all got to learn, right? Each of us sitting here got to hear from the other about what is this beautiful mood of service, how can we engage, what is the proper sentiment, and how can we really grow? Because on our own, we cannot, seva is also not an ascending process, it is a descending process. And seva is actually, another, this is, forgive me if I make a mistake here, but as far as I understand, seva is another expansion of Bhakti Devi, right? This opportunity for service. We're learning from Gurudev, we're learning from, Tulsi Devi, from Bhakti Devi, from Srimati Radharani, we're learning from our Guru Varga what is seva. So seva is not to be taken lightly and thrown around, but rather it must be invited into our heart, right?
He said, there is a prayer, very beautiful. He says like this, is in the scriptures. O Radhe, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are like a flowing river filled with mercy. Please bestow your causeless mercy upon me and give me a small humble service at your lotus feet. You are the queen of the holy management of ecstasy.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
She will, as it says in expansion.
Yeah.
That is a gift. Seva is not a job. Many times we get involved with this is the job. It's not a job. It has nothing to do with the job. Everything to do with, as Prabhu said, pray to the Lord, please, pray. Oh Lord, oh Radhe, please. You are the queen of the holy management of ecstasy, of seva. Bless me, It's Gurudeva, our Gurudeva in a finer vision is Radharani.
Yes.
See, he himself said in some darshan, he's saying, as we see gradually, we see our Gurudeva, and then we'll see in a finer vision, that's Radharani, helping, giving us engagement. Yeah.
And even the person giving ash, even the person giving $1, even the person giving $1 million, nobody is better than the other, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is trying to give something.
Yeah, because there was my experience by collecting out in the public, and then this person who is telling to me, I am saying, oh, please help, and this and that. They say, oh, okay, I'm hearing you. Okay, I'll give you 1 penny. And he puts there 1 penny. He's looking at me. And I go like this. Thank you very, very much, sir. It's very beautiful. I'm so grateful for your contribution. Thank you very, very much. Then he's looking, he says, and he goes around, he looks at me and says, you know what? I'm giving you $50. and he put $50 and I said, very good, thank you very much, sir. And very beautiful, I'm so grateful. And he was like very puzzled, And I was in the airport where people go by rushing. But this one thing had to happen at that point. So then I'd say, wow, Gurudeva, I'm so grateful. Then when he put the penny there, I didn't get, on the contrary.
Right.
Because, you see, because our tendency would say, oh yeah, could you give more or something? No, because you see, when you are collecting, this can happen.
Right.
You say, could you give a little more, please, and this and that. But somehow, because actually, each time I'm going out in the morning, I'm praying, Gurudeva, I cannot do this. You can. You can do anything and everything. I am just your instrument. Gurudeva really mean it. Because airport mood was very tough. So,
Sí,
you see.
algo para compartir con respecto a nuestra experiencia es de que en el Seva Ashram en Tikul se acostumbra cada fin de semana ir a colectar a los semáforos con tarrito, pedir donativo ahí. Y uno en un principio, sin tener el fondo de la actividad, la mente, no, qué pereza ir a... No se hacía uno la idea de estar cada fin de semana yendo ahí. Pero cuando sabes de que con cada centavo que una persona está dando, está empezando su sukriti, de su proceso de conciencia de Krishna, uno lo hace ya en otra modalidad. Uno ya pierde ese tipo de hostigamiento de la mente de que no me gusta, que pereza, porque sabe uno que ahí está dando la oportunidad que tantas personas puedan empezar su kriti en el proceso de...
Eso dijo Gurudeva también. Gurudeva es una vez...
Remember, I'm going to translate because then I will forget. I'm sorry, my Kali Yuga brain. Is that Ramananda Prabhu? Please remember, Bimala, what you were going to say. Ramananda Prabhu is saying how in Tikul, in Tikul they have this service of going with like a little can, for asking for donations in the traffic at the red lights, right? At the traffic lights, asking for donations. And sometimes, if you don't have a well-founded remembrance of what it is that you're doing, the mind can come at you and be like, oh, this is so annoying. I have to go out here with this little can and ask for these donations.
It's really hot.
Yeah, and it's really hot, and it's your weekend, and you're spending your weekend asking for these donations. But then he's saying, oh, but then when you remember what you are doing, and you remember that every single penny that each person gives is actually the commencement of their spiritual life. It's the beginning of their sukriti. When you remember this, then your mood changes because you're really connecting with the proper foundation, the proper mood and understanding. And it's no longer this obligation and this kind of laborious thing, but now it's become this activity, right? This transcendentalized activity and vision. I changed a little what he's saying, but I'm trying to summarize properly.
See, I don't even have that sweet vision. I still get tired going collecting. But then you see Maharaj collecting at the same traffic light, and he's so sweet talking to the people, and like he's just there like asking every single person, like he doesn't discriminate, like, oh, this car looks kind of like I don't know, like I'm not asking this one. No, he asks to everyone. He speaks to every single like person he sees, and he's not just like, oh, here I'm collecting this and that. No, he's like explaining to them, talking to them, seeing how the person is doing. And I feel like just that motivates me, because at first, like every time I would collect, I would put money, because during Mexican camps we go collecting, so I would just be like, yeah, I'll just put this and like wander around and not collect. And I even told Maharaj that I was like, Maharaj, like when we first started collecting, I was like, Maharaj, honestly, I've never collected before. I would just add money to my can. And Maharaj just laughing. He's like, oh, Janaki, but you get used to like the collecting every Saturday, and you get to, like, you meet people, you talk to them, you see the way they see life. I don't know. It's just beautiful. Like different people.
So beautiful.
Y siempre el Vaishnava superior dando el ejemplo, el primero en la colecta.
And he says always this example of the superior Vaishnav, the example he's giving of being the first one in the collection, showing by example with his mood.
That Gurudeva, when I come here to America to help Gurudeva's mission, he asked me, Bimala, can you collect? And I said, oh yeah, Gurudeva, I can collect. But I had no experience. But again, as Prabhu said, that Vaishnava will give you that vision. So because I said yes I can, and then by His mercy, I immediately felt okay. What Prabhu and you are saying, that this is just like the chance of these people to start their journey towards spiritual life, and that good fortune, spiritual fortune, is called Sukriti in Sanskrit. So that spiritual fortune is starting already for that soul. And the minute that they give a little bit, what is so valuable to them, they work. Everyone in this world has to work and work very, very hard. And they're really waking up very early, long hours, so much stress to work this way, that way, in this job, in that job, to make that money, that currency, that energy. That energy means everything. Actually, it's the most valuable thing for them. And they won't give it so easily. You see, they won't give it up so easily. But that is in the background. There is that mercy, that blessing, that is there. So, and they already have some merit from past lives. Something is linked already, that they did something for some Vaishnava, some pious activity. So they are getting again that chance. And again, there you are, being the soldier for the Lord, being that representative of Gurudeva, to be like through you as a medium, as an instrument, that transaction to take place. And Gurudeva did say to me that once you finish that journey, that day of your collection, 1 hour, 2 hour, half a day, when you coming back, and he says, Bimala think in her purse there is no money at all. What is in that purse is the mercy of Gurudeva to the public. And I said, Jai Gurudeva. He said that, to the people. He was giving a darshan. And I go, Jai Gurudeva. Because by his mercy, actually, I did think so. I really I didn't even count. I just, whatever it was, oh my goodness, it was a lot. And I'm just sending to here, to Santa Cruz, when we went in San Jose, I was just sending. And then they would call me back and say, yeah, Bimala, was such and such. And I go, Jai Gurudeva. Because, it's not really, you're not thinking money. That's why when that gentleman gave 1 penny there, automatically, I didn't have to think with my brain about what it was. That instruction, that what Gurudeva gave to us came out, regardless of my brain, regardless of my mind, anything. And I'm just saying, I'm literally going like this. Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. I'm very grateful. And very sincerely. If I have to think now, I say, whoa, how did I do that? Why didn't I say, could you give a little more or something? You see, that was the most amazing thing. So I'm very grateful for that. That vision of Jivadoya.
Jivadoya. Si la Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati decía, yo no estoy interesado en que una persona me venga y me dé 1 millón de rupees para construir un templo. Yo estoy interesado en que 1 millón de personas me den 1 rupee para que se beneficien todas esas personas.
Ramananda Prabhu is remembering, hearing Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saying, I am not interested in, 1 person giving me 1 million rupees for the construction of this building, but rather I am interested in 1 million persons giving 1 rupee so that 1 million persons can be benefited in this service.
And he did. Bhaktisiddhanta did ask his servitors to go back to the village and get a little bit, even 1 rupee or pesos from every village. Right? I remember that by your mercy. I was remembering, And
as they all talking about their experience, and something came to my mind. I remember one time Srila Bhakti Trubika Maharaj gave a beautiful example that the only way to taste like the sweetness of the service is by getting engaged on service and doing the service. So he gives the example, if someone comes to you with a jar of honey and you have never tried it and told you that's so sweet and that's the most beautiful flavor that you can taste, you will never know it if you don't open the jar and try it. So that's something that I think we all should try to do, like try to engage in service. And as they are explaining, even your thinking, your minds, everything changes, and the way that you go is doing the services and you go is understanding how the things how the Gurudev works and everything on one person.
Jai, such a beautiful remembrance. Thank you all so much for sharing. And because of these beautiful devotees here today, now we have some remembrance of what is this mood of service, some beautiful stories, some beautiful references, and some sweetness to chew on, right? Some sweetness. We've tasted some sweetness here in this sharing. So wherever you are in the world, maybe I'll sit here just to close. So wherever you are in the world, no matter where you are, try to remember this. Try to connect with your God brothers, with your God sisters. Call the temple near you. See what opportunity there is. Try to engage in some way or another. Like all the stories we heard, if you must give ash, give ash. If you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling super off of your spiritual path, find some way to engage. There are so many service opportunities. You can send a private message to the Seva Ashram Facebook page if you are looking for some service opportunity. There are plenty of opportunities for, transcribing, translating, for creating flyers, for doing online preaching programs, what to speak of in your local centers, and of course in your own practicing life. So you're not alone. Service is not just some job or some task. Service is a lifestyle. Service is a way to create family, to create connection, and of course to open the heart. And we have to remember this. And if you see a God brother or a God sister tripping and misrepresenting or misunderstanding, pray for them. Try to remember, try to remind them if you're on speaking terms. Try to encourage them. And something I wanted to say, last thing, is that I remember again Gurudev saying, humility is not disturbing other people's minds. Tolerance means not to let your own mind be disturbed. And what is giving honor to others? Giving honor to others is honoring their vision in service, their mood in service. So the best medicine is really to encourage each other, not to attack, not to beat, not to criticize, but how can we encourage each other? Like Bimala receiving the penny from this man. Oh, I will give you 1 penny. She could have reacted in a different way, but instead she was so grateful. Thank you so much for this penny, Prabhu. This penny, for this man. This penny is, I'm so grateful. And because of her mood of gratitude, naturally his heart, naturally he wanted to give more. So let that be a key, not through beating, chastising, and criticizing, but rather by honoring, by connecting with the heart, by seeing the good quality, by seeing the good part in the devotee. That is how we encourage each other to serve and to do more service, not any other way. So whatever is happening in the world, try to always see the positive, because we have opportunities to eat garbage all day, but the real transformation happens in the choice to see the goodness, the choice to taste the sweetness, the choice to see the inspired side. And this is really, Gurudev is working with a bunch of paguls, a bunch of crazies, right? But he is able to see something good in us. And just because you might think you're a Seva superhero, this is only the mercy of Gurudev, who saw something good in you. And because he saw something in you, now you get this opportunity. So you must carry that out to others. And everybody is in a different stage of life, different stage of Seva, different stage of practicing. So really it is our responsibility to nurture and to give love and affection. So this is really the bottom line. This sweet circle of devotees completely changed a mood of fear and this and that to a mood of joy and expansion. And we all have the capacity to do that for ourselves and each other if we choose this path. So in this mood of distribution, sankirtan, of really praying, as Prabhu mentioned in that beautiful song, let us chant together and let us try to remember and be an example. And what song should we sing? Hari Haraya? Or-
Bhakti Vinoda song.
Bhakti, or
Yes.
this
That's
we were
Prabhu
going
is
to
the
sing
sing.
this song that Prabhu mentioned. I hope it's in the kirtan guide, yes? I don't know.
Yes.
So please stay with us. We are going to close with some kirtan and then we will sign off. Thank you all who have been watching while the devotees gather some of the books, if you will. I'm going to just read some of these messages. So I want to say that Vlad is watching, Marco Bruno, Swarup Damodar is watching, Teis Carvalho is watching, Manik is watching, Krishna Lalana Devi Dasi, Gopinath Yashoda Maharaj, and we have a really beautiful message here from Revati Didi. She's saying, very beautiful. Please, all of you receive my Dandavat Pranams, my special affection for Ramananda Prabhu and his beautiful family. Jai. Okay, so please join us. If you have
154.
if you have the Kirtan guide, it is page
154.
154 in the
Janiki Bono.
7th edition of the Kirtan book. Let me give you the name. So if anybody is at home and you want to sing along, please turn to page 154, or you might have a different page number in your Kirtan guide. This is called Ki Rupe Paibo Seva. So you can find this now if you have the book and you can sing along with us. This is the name of the song. And then we will close with Mahamantra after, yeah? Okay. All right, here we go.
a tradução, podemos? Cada lê parágrafo.
So we will read the translation before we close. We're going to take turns reading, and it's written by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, by the way. Okay, here we go. Who goes first?
You do.
I have no devotional attachment for either the Vaishnavas or my spiritual master. How it is possible for a rascal like me to attain devotional service?
My mind is always drowning in illusion. I have not even the smallest fragment of devotion for the Vaishnavas.
I have become blind by constantly meditating on the objects of the senses. The witch Maya Devi has placed a hangman's noose around my neck.
Even if I can cure my blindness and defeat Maya, the form of this hangman, I cannot become free from the material illusion without the mercy of the saintly devotees.
O Master, O Purifier of the sinful, O Savior of the fallen souls, you do not see the fault of others. Please rescue this Narottam Das.
Jai. Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki Jai. Jai Saparikara Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Sabarshad Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Sabarshad Sriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Pavan Janar Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki
Yeah.
And let's Shri Ganga Devi, Shri Jamuna Devi, Shri Kalindi Devi ki Jai.
Jai.
Tulasi Maharani ki Jai. Grancharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki
Jai.
Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki
Jai.
Nitai Gaud Premanande
To the Tikul devotees, ki
Jai. Srila Bhakti
Ramananda Prabhu and his family, ki
Jai.
Vaidehi Devi Dasi
Ki
ki
Jai.
Bimala Devi Dasi ki
Jai.
Nitai Gaura Prabhu.
Haribo.
Jai Srila Bhakti Gurushamanja Maharaj ki Jai. Haribo.
Haribo. Gaura Pramanande.
Haribo. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here and for joining this super ecstatic Seva Ashram live stream. So fortunate we have these beautiful devotees visiting and here with us, and I cannot wait to continue having them here for weeks. What a beautiful treat. Again, please tune in next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as usual, we have daily classes happening in the morning, in the evening. Make sure you tune in here at the Seva Ashram website. And please, if you feel inspired after this class, after this gathering really, please message the Seva Ashram Facebook page if you would like to inquire for some service opportunity, and we will be happy to support you and engage you and whatever we can do to keep you all inspired. There's no other time, no better time than now to come together.
Do not think twice.
Oh,
when, we
Bimala
get,
Devi.
when we get mercy, we run for it.
Yes, and Bimala Devi is usually one of the objects of my conversations. I usually like to speak about Bimala, and today I get to have her here in person. This is
That's
us.
like mercy. Otherwise, I would never do it. I will feel shy or something. Which I'm not so shy, but only like mystical way. Mystical way is the best. You know?
So basically, it's a treat that she was here today, is what we're really understanding.
Yeah.
Jai.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Dandavats, dandavats,
Love you
Haribo.
all. Haribo.
Haribo.
Italian way.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Jai.
Jaya Guru Deva 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 Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Gurudev Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Nitai Gaur